Enough of this kid stuff. We're about to do an Adult Swim video game for the first time. Today we're going to talk about Aqua Team Hunger Force, Zombie Ninja Pro-Am, aka a golf game. I remember playing this game when I was younger. I remember on how hard it is and I never beaten it. And yes, they like to mess around with the options and everything else in the menu. Those of you are unfamiliar about Aqua Team Hunger Force, it's been around since into the 90s. This is when they made their first appearance in Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. Was actually the very first Adult Swim cartoon to appear in the 90s. I remember when I was younger watching it, at my young age, not noticing about the Adult Swim thing. But since I'm 28 right now, I'm old enough to watch the show. That's Master Shake, by the way. He's kind of a selfish jerk and likes to be popularly smart. And most likely he's lazy. He doesn't like meet the child innocent at one. Flyawog is a good one that's really intelligently smart. Carl, what you just saw, is also their neighbor that's human and doesn't have a job. And doesn't like to be bothered by anybody with his awesome car. And he can't pay the bills of his own apartment home. And not to mention, Flywog is the only one with superpowers and Meatwalk can shapeshift. The show's been popular since it's the first time it aired it in 2001 and had over 15 seasons. I am not kidding you, there were 15 seasons of this show. And it finally ended years ago. And I remember watching the movie. It was pretty interesting. It was insanely good. It has like almost all the characters from the show. This is pretty much that's how interesting the show is. Anyhow, now the game you play is a golf one. Yeah, what he said. You can use meat wad to hit that golf hole. Just once at all time. Their only weighing weapon is like what Shig's using is the sword that's also from the show. There can be only one! Once in a while you'll fight a mini boss. First one is Carl. And that doesn't like to have his car busted up. Almost in part of the franchise. This game does have like a few problems. First of all, these characters move pretty slow. Oh, not to mention, and it's almost impossible to avoid the enemy's attacks. Or it's almost impossible to get a perfect shot. As long as you're like me, try to do it on the first goal or the beginning. And it doesn't have music play that much. Just like in the show. But then again, my younger self don't mind playing this game. Ain't that often. And just like in the show, you'll find the enemies are also a part of the series. I kind of like this idea when they finally did this one on the PlayStation 2 and GameCube. And you have to find collectibles in the game too. So you can switch to either Shake or Frylock. And how many lives you got. You know, make sure you get this far into the game or it's over. Or with. There's just not much else to say. Hey, this is a golf and fighting game at once. Also, you'll find Drippy, that's also part of the shows. And we get these very nice cutscenes, which I find pretty hilarious with the Moonanites. But these Moonanites are hilarious. They're also part of the series that likes to steal stuff. And not to mention it gets weird with talking food. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, whenever they throw stuff away, they randomly explode. Oh, it's really random. Also, these other two are my favorite characters from the show. Ignore and Marie, the tall green one. The orange one kind of looks like a Dorito. I just love of the series. It's hilariously funny, it's creative, and I love the voice actor that plays Master Shake. But what I don't like about this game is the racing with the fart aliens. They made the controls on a racing card impossible to control. Oh, I really hated this one the most. I could not get past this stage because they made the go-karts feel realistic. It's almost worse as the Earthworm Jim 3D ride. Once you take a hit, you lose control. But as long as you use the rocket launcher, you'll hit them right back. Did I forget to mention there's like several levels of this game, and it's like about, you'll probably be playing this game for like nearly 3 or 4 hours. There's also multiplayer if you're in that sort of thing to enjoy playing different characters in different stages. There's all different levels, and the backgrounds, I'll give it credit, are pretty nice to look at. But it would have been nice enough for them to play some music. Sure, the show does that too, but sometimes it does play interesting hip-hop music. Like one of my favorite characters from the show is NCP Pants, a spider. Yeah, he's in this game too. I kind of like the creative idea to make an Adult Swim video game with my favorite characters. There's Frylock, Meadwad, Master Shake, and the other hilarious characters are just downright crazy fun to watch. Also, spoilers. Here's what the ending looks like when you get to the final golf hole. Also, vlog reference. Also, these Moonanites are kind of like Atari, a 2600 video game characters. I just love how funny that these guys move rather slowly because they're from the 1980s. And yeah, they're the final bosses of the game. Anyhow, here's what the ending looks like. Those of you who are watching this right now, I'll stop and play the game. It's pretty much worth the risk. You can also say game when you complete a stage. There's also extra stuff in the game too, which is pretty awesome. Did I forget to mention the movie came out exactly the same year that this game did? And Mortal Kombat reference. And this is how the game ends. And yeah, Master Shake nearly dies a lot throughout the entire series. I mean, seasons. And kind of like Kenny from South Park. I think once he dies, he'll always come back for another part of the series. No explanation. They just come back anyway. He comes back anyways. Some of the characters do come back when they die. Some of them never return, actually. I just love the entire series of Hunger Team Hunger Force. Especially its awesome intro and its awesome music, which you hear at the very end of this game now. If you love Hunger Team Hunger Force, you'll definitely enjoy playing this game and watch the show at once. So I give this game play, if it wasn't for the racing game, I would give it a higher grade. So it's still good, I'll give it that. So I give Aqua Team Hunger Force, or Zombie Ninjas Pro-Am, a 6 out of 10. So if you excuse me, I'll be watching a few more episodes of Aqua Team Hunger Force. Especially my favorite parts, Space Katas. See you then. I'll just pause this right now. Adios, amigos.